Hey guys, thanks so much for stopping by my channel. I do appreciate you guys' support. While you're here, please make sure to like this video, hit that notification bell, and definitely subscribe. The views that I express are my own personal opinions and reactions for commentary, and everything is alleged. So let's get into the video, guys. Was it just me, or was this episode a snooze fest? I mean, we are in the third episode of this season, and we are still talking about this couples retreat. It seems like to me that they are stretching this out in order to get more episodes, because this could have been one episode if you ask me. But anyway, we start off with Dr. Francis with Maurice and Kimmy still talking about Maurice wanting more sex. And Dr. Francis basically told Maurice he needs to embrace more of Kimmy and not just look at her as a partner to have sex with. And then Maurice goes into his Marceau's acting role, if you ask me. But he says, "Oh, is that it? Is that all I have to do to get more sex?" And Dr. Francis says, No, that's not what I meant. But what sort of tripped me out was Kimmy going on to say that they've been having these same issues since before they were married. She said during their premarital counseling and all of this, that this is the same thing that Maurice was complaining about. And I say, after these years, girl, run. You know, she has a full life, working, running businesses, and all of that. And if he doesn't understand, she can't just have sex at his every demand, that's a red flag to me. And I'm sorry, I put in a previous video that I thought that Maurice complaining about sex and Lewis last season, he was complaining about sex. I thought they both were doing it basically because of a storyline. You know, we know that was Martell's main complaint, some of the things that Mel wasn't doing while they were married. And I thought the other guys said to themselves, hey, let me try this to use for my storyline. But if Kimmy is saying that they went through this previously, then I guess it is a real problem. But Dr. Francis did try to break it down more to Maurice, you know, like he's a child. But he said that sex should be an act of sharing, of self, of each other, not just giving it up to the other person. Maurice goes on to joke and says, well, can we compartmentalize this? And, you know, do it as a bond sometimes, and others we can do it as an exercise to burn off calories. And Dr. Francis seemed to have gotten a chuckle out of that because he started laughing, but Kimmy didn't. Kimmy had this look like she's over it, and I'm over it too. I hope this is the last that we hear of Maurice wanting sex. And then the next morning we get to the Scotts at breakfast. Tisha mentions that she got a text from Tiffany. Tiffany told them sorry that they had to leave like they did, but they've already implemented some of the things that they learned while they're at the retreat. And they started talking, Tisha and Kimmy and Maurice, and Tisha said maybe they needed to get away from us. And she was right, because the Scotts, especially Kimmy, thought that they were the counselors when it came to Lewis and Tiffany. And I don't blame them from leaving. You know, it's one thing to get information and suggestions from Dr. Francis, but the way they were grilling them and talking to them like they had everything together just wasn't right in my opinion. And then I did like Dr. Francis' wife talking to Tisha. You know, she told Tisha that she gets it. She reminds her of her. But she did tell Tisha that, yes, you have a husband. Yes, you have kids. But you also need to make yourself a priority as well and take care of self. And that's great advice. You know, I think a lot of women, you know, we get so wrapped up in everything else that we don't think about self much. It's all about everyone else. So I did like that part. And next up, we have Kimmy, Tisha, and Destiny meeting up at a store. And what did they start the conversation off with? The couples retreat. My goodness. But anyway, Kimmy and Tisha gave Destiny a breakdown of what went on during the couples retreat, told them about Tiffany and Lewis and all of that, and then Destiny wonders why she wasn't invited to a couples retreat. It's like, are you serious? But anyway, Kimmy tells Destiny that basically because you don't have a man or you're not willing to share much about your man, and it was a couples retreat. And I really like Kimmy's confessional when she talked about how Destiny is tight-lipped about everything. She was tight-lipped about her marriage, tight-lipped about when things went wrong, tight-lipped about the divorce, but here she is on a reality show that's based on your life. So I'm glad that Kimmy acknowledged that because that's been a major complaint of a lot of the fans of the show. We don't know much about Destiny. Why is she there? But Kimmy then gets into the conversation that she had with Mel and Mel telling her about Mel Nika. And when I tell you Destiny perked up, bucked those big old eyes out, at just the mention of Mel's name, it seems like some energy went into Destiny's body. But Kimmy told her that Mel said, about how 2 weeks before her and Martell got married, that Mel Nika dropped that bomb about Martell trying to get with one of her assistants. And they did show a clip on this episode where Mel said that she feels like Mel Nika has always been around as someone that Martell messes around with. But Tisha then goes on to say, well, why is she talking about it now? And Destiny definitely perked up again and said, yeah, why is she talking about it now? So Kimmy clarified that she's the one that actually brought up Mel Nika because Mel Nika was on that second ATL trip. And this is what I need to research, and I need some of you guys to let me know. Destiny said that she's known Mel Nika since high school. Did they or did they not show Martell introducing Mel Nika to Destiny? I think a lot of what Destiny is saying about her and Martell knowing each other from back in the day, me personally, I think it's a lie. I really, really do. Where are the pictures from high school? I know she said she went to one school and she was a cheerleader and he was at another school and he was a football player. She also said that Martell's mom and her dad briefly dated. And now she's saying that she's known Mel Nika. But again, we saw Martell introducing Mel Nika to Destiny. So if anybody remembers that episode, please drop down in my comments and let me know, because that seems like it's a big, big lie. But next we go to the guys meeting up. And what are they talking about again? The couples retreat. And Mr. Martell walks in with his shirt unbuttoned damn near to his waist, getting his sexy on. Martell is on the prey, looking for that next woman that he's going to lock down. But anyway, yes, they talked about more of the retreat. I did like what Marceau said. He said he got a lot out of the retreat. He talked about the rope challenge with him and Tisha. And he says that what him and Tisha has may be unorthodox, but it works for them. So that was good to see. It does work for them. Like I mentioned before, no one wants to see a marriage end. And if they're happy, I'm happy. But Martell did say that he's single, how he wants to get married again. He did say in his confessional that he does miss being married, and we know you do. It has to be very awkward to meet up with your married buddies and you're no longer married because you couldn't keep your penis in your pants. So I'm sure he does miss it. I don't think that it's going to be as easy as Martell thinks. Martell comes with a lot of baggage, and the main one is his issues. And until he properly heals, I don't see any woman in their right mind that will want to get involved in that. And then he has 5 kids. So I'm not saying that it's not possible. Sure, there's somebody out there for everyone, but I think that unfortunately, Martell had it all and lost it all for nothing. But he did say when he does find that perfect woman, and all I thought to myself is poor coleslaw. The girl is still at it, and this man still says he's looking for the perfect woman. Not he got one that done had his baby. But anyway, he says he misses having a woman on his arms, and the next time around, he's going to cherish his marriage. So I guess time will tell on that. And then the next scene, we see Mel driving up to Martell's house. And when I tell you, it warmed my heart just to see the kids run into the truck to greet their mom, and then to see all of them in the same room. Again, I just get so mad at Martell to break something like that up. Those kids, and you can tell that the kids are happy, but just imagine how it was when they all were under one roof. But Mel goes into Martell's house and she's just standing there. It was a little awkward. She says that this was the first time she was at his house, and Martell told her, come on, come sit down. So she goes and sits down, and she asks him if he's heard the things that Miss Wanda has been saying on the internet. So she goes on to say how Wanda is throwing out or questioning the paternity of Sugar Mama. And you can tell that Martell got visibly upset. And he said that they definitely need to talk to her again. He told Mel that he didn't want to talk to her because he gets so angry. But he says that he was going to try to get Wanda's number to give to Mel so they can have a talk. He did ask Mel how it started, and she mentioned what she said when she was on Carlos's show, that Tisha's daddy was in her DMs. But like Mel said, there's nothing wrong with two adults going at it, but for Wanda to bring the kids into it, yes, that deserves a talking to, and if not more, if you ask me. And then we get to Destiny at home with her son, and she has a FaceTime call with her assistant. They're going over a recap of her day and all of that. And Destiny mentioned that she wanted to have a reopening of her store, how she's currently hiring people. But what I found odd was, didn't Destiny say that she owned the building where her store is? Remember, she had that talk with Marceau about breaking the inside down into individual suites. They even talked about how much Marceau was going to charge her. I think it was $50,000 or whatever it was. They were mapping out the plans for this suite, for those suites, excuse me. But Destiny now says that her and the landlord couldn't come to an agreement and she's renting. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. But again, it was a big lie. And that's what I think that's going on with Destiny, period. I think everything is made up. She's trying to come up with a storyline that's just not sticking, if you ask me. And then we get to a phone call with Destiny and her new man. He lives in St. Louis. They have a long-distance relationship. But she just talked about basically everything. She talked with her assistant about the relaunching of the store and all of that. He said, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to make it. And I'm wondering why. So hopefully this relationship with Destiny and this guy is real. I guess we'll see in the upcoming episodes if he makes an appearance or if it's just a phone relationship. I guess time will tell. And then the last scene was Martell going to the wine store to see if they would carry his wine. He had a little tasting with the owner of the store. She tasted it and said it was good. She also said that the wine has legs where it sticks on the glass. And she just said overall it was a great wine. So Martell was very excited about that. And then in walks Destiny. So Martell then introduces Destiny to the owners of the store. He told Destiny how they gave him tens all across the board. Destiny joked, oh, well, let me be your agent or whatever she said and just give me my 20%. So the owners of the stores excused themselves and Destiny and Martell started talking. And Destiny then goes on to be the bone collector that she is, and she started talking about what Mel said about Melnika. And Martell definitely tried to play dumb because he says, oh, that was 13, 14 years ago. I never looked at a woman back then. I don't know what she talking about. And it's like, man, please, if a woman told your wife 2 weeks, or your soon-to-be wife at that time, 2 weeks before it was time for you all to get married, that you either messed with the assistant or tried to get with the assistant, that's something that you're going to remember. So Martell, unfortunately, he has this look where you can tell that he's lying. And I just knew that he was lying about that. But he tried to deny it with Destiny. They then go on to Destiny's relaunching, and she told him she needs him in attendance. And the way she said it was just a little odd to me. I don't know. There's some type of tension there when it comes to Martell and Destiny, in my opinion. And I think that that's how they really know each other from back in the day. I think they had a little fling or something. Because how you going to demand that he's in attendance? You know, I get it. You're saying this is your boy or whatever. But just the way that she said it was a bit odd to me. Plus, there were other scenes in the past where Martell is half dressed and there go Destiny there. So I'm not sure if the show is trying to make it seem like they had something, or if it's what I'm feeling, that they had something back in the day. But Martell told her, yeah, I'll definitely be there. Are you going to invite everybody else? Are you going to invite Mel? And she bucks up her eyes like she always does without really giving a straight answer. And she said that the people that should be there will be there. But something about Destiny when it comes to Mel, that was never a true friendship. Because you don't develop this much anger and hate. Because that's what I see. I see straight hate. And what happened with her and Mel wasn't that deep for her to have this level of hate. So I guess we'll see how this all pans out. Like I said, the only part that I really enjoyed of this episode was Mel and Martell sit down. And I think I may have forgot to mention in that sit down, Mel did invite Martell to the family vacation in Destin, Florida. And naturally he said yes. But yeah, that was it. You know, I'm going to have to check the ratings on these past 3 episodes because it's been a little boring to me. The other 2 shows that's under this umbrella, Love and Marriage DC and Bell Collectives, are a tad bit more spicy. And the people of Love and Marriage Huntsville, they're going to have to pump it up. They're going to have to amp this up because it's boring. I know the show is Love and Marriage, and they are talking about the marriages, but we've had a lot of action in these previous seasons, and so far for me, just me personally, it's not doing it. So yeah, you guys drop down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on last night's episode. Do you think it's been a little slow or boring like I do? Again, that could just be my own personal opinion, but let me know your thoughts. Also, let me know if you remember Martell introducing Destiny to Melnika. So I'm looking forward to chatting with you guys. Thanks so much for joining me. Please make sure to like the video, hit that notification bell, and subscribe. Chat with you guys soon. Bye.